So this is a sequel to my first YouTube upload where I made a list on what I thought were the best 10 missions in Red Dead Redemption 2. There are so many great missions in the game that limiting the list to only 10 meant that there were some really fun and exciting missions that had to be left out. Looking back on the original list, there are definitely some changes I would make. I received a lot of great comments on missions that you guys enjoyed, so I'm going to combine those comments with my personal opinions to list 10 more of the best missions in Red Dead 2. In the first video I listed the missions in chronological order rather than ranking them based on quality. I'm going to do the same here, but at the end of the video I'm going to combine both lists to create my definitive top 10. Let's get straight into it, and as always there will be heavy spoilers for Red Dead Redemption 2 ahead. At number 1 it's A Quiet Time, which is a fan favourite for how fun and over the top it becomes. Arthur and Lenny head to the Valentine Saloon for what is supposed to be a couple of drinks. The night quickly turns into one big party, and Arthur is left to stumble around the saloon looking for Lenny. This mission has some funny interactions and one of the most iconic quotes of the game. Eventually the law will chase after you, but it's harder to get caught than to run away. If you manage to escape, Arthur will wake up the next morning in the middle of nowhere. This mission is just a great time and very light-hearted compared to some other missions in the game. At number 2 it's Blessed Are the Meek, which was an honourable mention on my original list. This mission happens right after A Quiet Time and has Arthur breaking Micah out of jail and shooting through the whole town of Strawberry. I've always gone the traditional method of using the steam donkey to blow a hole in the side of the jail, but it's also possible to just kill the 3 lawmen and unlock Micah's cell from the inside. Micah's craziness is on full display as he makes a house call right in the middle of the action to take out an old running buddy. Arthur and Micah then make their escape, killing every lawman on horseback in their path. There's some good dialogue between Arthur and Micah throughout the mission, and I just really like it because of how chaotic it is.
You're a funny fella, Arthur. Real funny. Why you act all sour all the time?
Yeah, well, you ain't funny at all, so why you gotta act like the court jester?
Alright, listen.
And number 3 it's Pouring Forth Oil, where Arthur, John, Charles and Sean rob a train in the dead of night. Starts off with a fun interaction between Arthur and Sean. This mission has one of the coolest shots of the entire game with Arthur standing on the oil wagon. Sean has his best performance in this mission, and in what I think is a small but important comment, John mentions that the people they'll be robbing are innocent and no one has to die if they play it smart. Surprisingly, the robbery goes off without too many issues and the boys escape the law to end the mission. At number 4 it's Sodom Back to Gomorrah, otherwise known as the Valentine Bank Robbery. This mission is pretty long. The ride from Clemens Point to Valentine takes a while, but it's helped by a funny conversation between Bill and Arthur. This is one of the few missions where Karen gets some shine as well. This mission has a few choices you can make, like which performance Karen should put on and how you want to unlock the vaults. I've always found it funny how awkwardly long it takes for the bank teller to unlock the main vault too. The robbery goes smooth enough by the gang standards, and the getaway is one of the more exciting in the game. This mission has a secondary part to it, where Arthur goes to revisit Edith Downs to collect the debt after Thomas dies. Arthur and Edith have a great conversation about morality. When we look back at this moment later in chapter 6, when Arthur helps Edith and her son leave Annesburg, we can see the character development that Arthur has gone through, as his demeanour and way of thinking has completely changed. From one bank robbery to another, at number 5 it's banking and old American art. In terms of importance to the story, this mission would be in the top 3 of the game. This is where everything starts to go wrong for the gang. John is arrested and Hosea and Lenny are killed. This mission is mostly an all-out war between the gang and the Pinkertons. And when Arthur gets onto the roof, it's satisfying to be able to unload on Agent Milton's men, after he's just killed one of the best characters in the game. After getting overwhelmed in the bank, the gang escapes over the rooftops of Saint Denis. Come nightfall, they sneak down to the docks where Charles demonstrates his loyalty and bravery by distracting the guards so that Dutch and the others can escape onto a boat. This was one of the most requested missions in the comments of my original video, so it was an easy pick for this list. At number 6 it's Fleeing Joy. This is one of the better missions of chapter 5, which is widely considered to be the weakest chapter of Red Dead 2, along with chapter 1. The Guarma portion of the game is a very hit or miss with many players, but the second half of chapter 5 when the gang returns to the main map I think is very good. In Fleeting Joy, Arthur and the others are reunited with the gang after getting back from Guarma. The good times are short-lived though, as the Pinkertons storm the gang's makeshift camp in Lakay. Whether the Pinkertons were tipped off by Micah or just simply followed Bill is up to you. This fight is just as big as the one in the Saint Denis Bank. This mission is really fun, short and straight to the point. We also get access to the Gatling gun, which we use to turn the tide in the fight. The kill cam shots here are absolutely brutal, which makes the mission more memorable and helps it to get a spot on this list. At number 7, it's the fine art of conversation. This mission starts off with a really nice moment, when Arthur says goodbye to Trelawney. Arthur and Charles and accompany Rains Fall to a meeting between himself and Colonel Favors. As expected, things don't go well and Arthur overhears that Captain Munro is going to be hanged for treason. Arthur and Charles help Munro escape and he boards a train to start a new life. What gets this mission onto this list is the conversation Arthur has with either Sister Calderon or Reverend Swanson at the end of the mission. The chat with the sister has one of the most iconic quotes of the whole game, but even Reverend Swanson telling Arthur to keep fighting and stay true to himself is a great moment too. At number 8, it's My Last Boy, which was by far the most talked about mission in the comments of my original list. And to be fair, I don't know how it slipped through and didn't make it. There is so much packed into this one mission. Iconic shots, great action, memorable quotes.
What is it with you, Arthur? What is it?
I don't get you. Don't get you no more.
And of course the big betrayal of Dutch walking out on Arthur as he's begging for help. Rains Fall has an amazing speech here and the kill count is off the charts as the gang and the Indians take the fight to the army and rip through the oil field. Eagle Flies gives his life to save Arthur's in a really sad moment, as Eagle Flies was one of the few friends Arthur made outside of the gang. At number 9 I've got Our Best Selves, which is the second last mission of chapter 6 and of the main story. This mission has one of the best conversations in the game between Arthur and Dutch, where Arthur pleads with Dutch to let John and his family leave. Arthur's delivery is slightly different depending on your honour. He is much more desperate with good honour, but he gets the same message across.
John? Insist?
Yeah. Insist.
This is the second train robbery to feature on this list, but this one doesn't go according to Dutch's
Goddamn plan!
When the train doesn't stop in Saint Denis, the gang must chase after it. We get some more time on the Gatling gun in this mission, except this time we're faced with moving targets so they're a lot harder to hit. John is shot here, and when questioned, Dutch says that he tried to save him, but he was killed. I love Arthur's expression here. After everything that's happened, he knows Dutch is lying. This mission has some great story moments and sets up the ending to the game very well. Before we get to the final entry, I'd just like to quickly list some honourable mentions. Even though they just missed out on making either list, they are still great missions in their own ways. The first honourable mention is Revenge is a Dish Best Eaten, where the gang raid Angelo Bronte's mansion to kidnap him after Bronte set up Dutch in the trolley station robbery. It's no secret that I love the shootouts in this game and this mission has another great one. Plus the first time seeing Dutch drown Bronte and feed him to an alligator was truly shocking.
Our friends the Pinkertons are gonna come and rescue you! You repulsive little maggot!
The second honourable mention is Goodbye Old Friend, where Arthur, Dutch and Sadie go to Saint Denis and ensure that Combe O'Driscoll finally gets hanged. The best part of this mission is just the look of fear on Combs' face when he knows he is lost. The amount of detail and emotion on his face is something I've rarely seen in a game and is very impressive. The title of this mission has two meanings, as Arthur also gets his final goodbye letter from Mary, along with the ring he gave her when they were younger.
A letter came for you.
Oh, okay.
I know it's from that Mary.
Mary?
She ain't worth it, Arthur.
Who is?
And to round out the list with number 10, it's A New Jerusalem. This light-hearted entry is a montage of John, Uncle and Charles building John's house. The whole thing is over pretty quickly, but it has one of the best tracks in the game and hammering the nails along to the song is really satisfying. So that rounds out my second list on the best missions in Red Dead 2. Now to take both lists and make a final top 10 based on quality rather than chronological order. I've already talked about what I like about these missions, so to avoid repeating myself, I'm just going to say the most memorable moment of each mission. At number 10, it's A Quiet Time with... At number 9, it's Pouring Forth Oil with Arthur standing on top of the oil wagon. At number 8, it's Urban Pleasures with the funny interactions between Arthur and Dutch.
So we are gonna rob that place.
Well, I didn't think we was fixing the plumbing.
At number 7, it's Horsemen Apocalypses, with the shock of seeing a decapitated Kieran. At number 6, it's Banking and Old American Art, with the shocking deaths of Hosea and Lenny. At number 5, it's A Short Walk in a Pretty Town, with Sean getting killed and the game shifting tone. At number 4, it's My Last Boy, with this epic scene.
We're riding with you.
Come on, then. Yeah!
Let's ride!
At number 3, it's American Venom and finally being able to get revenge on Micah. At number 2, it's Red Dead Redemption with Arthur's last ride and death. And at number 1, it's Blood Feud's Ancient and Modern, the legendary walk up to the Braithwaite Manor. So there's my conclusive list on what I think are the best missions in Red Dead 2. I guess the take home message from this video is that Red Dead Redemption 2 is a fantastic experience with so many amazing story moments. It's my personal favourite game of all time. It's going to take something truly special to beat it. Keep letting me know what your favourite missions in the game are, and please leave your suggestions for future lists you'd like to see on Red Dead 2 in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, please think about hitting the like button and subscribing. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.